Anyone can write badly by accident, but what if we did it on purpose? How badly can I screw up a scene that I've lovingly edited a dozen of times by following bad writing advice? Well, let's find out. If you're new here, hi, I'm Katri, I'm your new writing bestie, and this is Protagonist Crafts, the place for people who are kind of obsessed with that whole writing thing. What makes writing bad is usually when it's saying something very different than what the writer meant, or perhaps it's not saying anything at all and it's taking the long route to do that. When you're writing fiction, your job is to produce images in the minds of your readers, so that's where your work happens. It's not on the page. It doesn't matter what the words are or how they look. If it doesn't produce anything in here in the minds of your readers, the effect is the thing that you want to go for, not just to look cool on the page to make yourself sound smart. That means you need to learn to pick the right words, but what the right words are depends on your genre and on your story and on whatever it is that you're trying to say at that specific moment. Again, what do you want your reader to see, to feel, to experience? That is your end goal. How do you get there? Something that's also going to suck the quality out of your writing is going for the default in every turn of phrase. Oh no, just say what everyone else is saying. Use dead metaphors and don't stop beating that dead meta horse. On top of that, try really hard to be something instead of being authentic. That's how people like you. Oh, maybe not. So with that in mind, here's some terrible advice that's going to do terrible things to your writing. Use the biggest words that you can to show that you're really smart. Or alternatively, use really complex, flowery descriptions to show that you are a poet. Never use the same word multiple times on the same page, but instead use synonyms for variety and to show what a big vocabulary you really have. And show more of that vocabulary by using interesting dialogue tags. As you know, said is dead. Manner adverbs add flair to your writing and they help you say what you want to say. How else could you do it? A realistic story is where bad stuff happens and people are mean, and it's important to be realistic. It's also important to be cool and ironic. No genuine feelings there, no earnestness. That is cringe. Ooh, we don't want to be cringe. So let's go look at the first scene of my yet to be published novel. Fingers crossed it all works out. And let's see how badly I can ruin it. Yay, fun! Okay, so I just copy and pasted this scene to this document. So I apologize for the formatting, but whatever. So let's begin. I am so excited. We were two strangers sitting in the car. For one time, we'd been sisters. I feel like we could come up with something else here. Something. Sister is so pedestrian. So how about female siblings? Is that better? I don't know. Is there an interesting synonym for sister? Oh yes, kinsperson. Oh yes. Let's do that. Female kinspersons. All right. I want you to know this place is yours as much as it's ours, Josie told me. So here we've got our little memo, and there it says interesting dialogue tags. We're going to, yes, told me. Let's see, what could be a synonym for telling? Or how else could she do that? Informed me. Yes, I think that's better. Let's start off more quietly. It doesn't have to be so jazzy. Right. Thanks for bringing me here. I was saying that we need to have mean people, and Josie here is being nice. So, as I said, I want you to know this place is yours as much as it's ours. You old loser, Josie informed me. Yes, that's much better. Right. Thanks for bringing me here. She's being sarcastic there, so we don't need to change it. I knew I'd have to get out of the car eventually, but I couldn't look beyond the dashboard and see the place where we'd arrived. If old Hawthorne Farm was going to be my last viable option on Earth, at least I could choose when to look. I feel like, look, we could use some kind of a different word. Why am I know a lot of words, alright, but it's just quicker if I check out the synonyms on thesaurus.com. So it doesn't take me 5 hours to create this video. And may I remind you, this isn't my native language, in case you were going to judge me. All right. Scrutinize rubberneck. Interesting. Oh, feast one's eyes. Yes. I think we should go for that one. Feast my eyes on the view. What about viable? Is that a big enough word already, do you think? Or maybe we should leave that. What else do we have here? Oh, yes, complex descriptions. Where could we use that? Oh, and also, yes, I'm glad I changed the other look because it already says look here, and we're supposed to remove these repetitions. Or it says car here also. So let's just say vehicle. Okay, so where might we have a chance for complex descriptions? Am I describing anything in here? I am describing the house later on. Yes. The farmhouse stood a few yards from us, the years of neglect evident on its face. Probably not much different from my own, as in, her own face. The once decorative climbing roses by the front door had developed a wilder nature of themselves, sprawling as they saw fit. I could have come up with some symbolic meaning for them too, but I didn't fancy comparing myself to a flower. Okay, we can, I think this is already borderline flowery, maybe. But how could we describe this house in a bit more? I don't know what word I'm looking for. Can you believe I am a writer? I don't know any words. I think the talking here is the problem. All right. Let's just say the reliable farmhouse, the steadfast house to generations stood a few yards from us. The years of neglect. What kind of neglect? I don't know. Grueling, maybe? Is that how you spell it? Grueling neglect evidence on its earthy face. Okay. Is her face? Oh no, grueling. Is that not a real word? Oh, just one L. All right. Thank you. The once decorative climbing roses. How could we jazz this up somehow? Or do we have to? Well, they have already developed a wilder nature for themselves. Maybe I've been flowery enough when talking about flowers. All right. You can have the upstairs guest room. I think you'll still like it, Josie said. Said is dead. Let's see. What kind of synonyms can we come up for? Say. Verb, make declaration. Well, that's already declared. Verbalized. Yes, let's go for that word. Josie verbalized. If you're sure you don't need anything, I'll go help Mary at the stables. She can't help her. Let's say, I will go help Mary at the stables. Or not. Whatever. The wind suddenly picked up quickly, bringing over the smell of lovingly tilled soil. I don't know how you till soil lovingly, but again, I'm not a farmer. Determined not to drag my feet, tentatively took my first step towards the house. Another than more hastily calling out for me, but stubbornly, I wasn't going to turn back now. It was completely impossible. Yes, that's good. Definitely an improvement. Well done, me. What have we not done yet? Yes, I think we've been dabbling with all of these. Well, let's keep going. I knew a house couldn't shrink over time. Maybe I had physically grown, or maybe I had become so jaded that nothing impressed me anymore. But surely the foyer had been bigger before. The old owners, the ones after Grandpa Frank, could have moved the walls closer together brick by brick. People did crazier things every day. I feel like this is showing their whimsy too much. They need to be cool and distant. I knew a house couldn't shrink over time because I wasn't an idiot. Maybe I had physically grown, or maybe I had become so jaded that nothing impressed me anymore. Surely the fire had been bigger before. Let's just remember that. I had become so jaded that nothing impressed me anymore. Yes, that is very distant and cool. The old owners, the ones after Grandpa Frank, who was now cold and dead as a doornail. Is that not a word? I'm supposed to add a space there. All right. Because life is full of chaos and darkness, like my soul. Soul, not soil. All right. The gentle darkness of the upstairs called for my return. No, not gentle. What is the opposite of gentle? Is it violence? The violent darkness of the upstairs called for my return. I think we're going to need some flowery descriptions here. I dropped my bag on the floor. Hang on. How could we more describe the violent darkness of the upstairs? To the what synonyms for darkness? Hang on. Absence of light. Eclipse. Brown eyed. Doesn't sound good. Pitch dark? No. Tenebros. How do you pronounce that? Okay. Tenebrosity. Let's go with that. So the tenebrosity that. Oh, I made a typo. Tenebrosity. That was my destiny in this cursed life of mine. It's still saying that isn't a word. What's up with that? It just doesn't know it. Turn to the corridor behind the staircase instead. The stone floor ranging through the downstairs hadn't changed a bit, like a reliable friend under my feet. No, reliable. That is too nice, too earnest, and just no, we can't have that. We need to be cool. The opposite of reliable. Let's say corrupt. That could be good. Let's have two words. Corrupt and fraudulent. Corrupt and fraudulent friend under my feet. The walk to the study took fewer steps than ever before, but once I arrived, what I saw wasn't dimmed, not faded by the time that had passed. The massive windows opposite the door let in daylight from two directions, illuminating the bookshelves that completely covered the walls, going higher than I could hope to reach. I think what we need here again is some more exciting descriptions, maybe some bigger words, although I've used the word illuminates, which is very nice. Massive. That's too pedestrian. Let's change that. Massive. Synonyms. Monumental. Cumbrous. Elephantine. Oh yes. And walloping. Thought that meant something else. The impressively walloping windows. I think we'll go with that. Impressively walloping. I'm going to give you a walloping. Windows opposite the door, letting daylight from two directions. Is this person sounding very like living in the fairyland and stuff? But it's just the point is showing that how she sees the world is very different from how she acts. So it isn't like a, what was it called, Pollyanna in this magical world. His books were gone. They'd been gone a long time. I made my way to the shelves to see what was on them now. Made my way. I think we should look for a synonym for walk so that we can have a big fancy word to show how smart and poetic we are. Perambulate. That is a fantastic word. Ambulated. And I think we should add a manner adverb. Maybe slowly or quickly. Which should we go for? Let's go for slowly this time. So slow. Let's look for some fantastic synonyms. Languidly. Yes. Fantastic. Very poetic. Languidly. To the shelves to see what's on them now. There's a scattering of tomes. A good word, isn't it? More must have been waiting their turn in the cardboard boxes I just stepped over. Nothing like what Grandpa Frank had used to read. I touched the spine of 17th century poets, but I didn't dare pick it up lest it slipped from my hands and one of the poets broke my foot. I also used the word lest, I think. Who's been adding these fancy words to my manuscripts? But this person did have novels too, and I took a well-worn copy of Jane Eyre from the shelf, leafed through the pages. I'm using the word book here, which I used earlier as well. I did use the word tome as well, but let's see if we can find some synonyms for book. Publication. Yes. Fiction publication, I think, would be accurate since we're talking about Jane Eyre. I couldn't find someone else's torment and mistreatment entertaining and thought it gross that someone could. Must have been nice if it were all theoretical. I stuffed the classic back in its place. But fortunately there I've used something else besides book. Let's add some more flowery things here. Couldn't find delight in the suffering of a soul. So what is Jane Eyre's soul? I don't know. I also haven't finished reading the book. Let's say it's beautiful, and let's look for the best synonym we can find. Pulchritudinous. Yes, pulchritudinous. Pulchritudinous. Fantastic. I learned a new word. Yay. Excuse me, someone said from the corridor. I turned around with nothing incriminating in my hands. A man stepped into the room. bowing his head slightly in the doorway, said, "Oh no, let's say murmured." The favorite of E.L. James, or whatever she's called. "Sorry, was I snooping?" I said. "I was, wasn't I? It's just that I'd been here before and it wasn't snooping then. I was all out." So first of all, let's just... You prick. She's being too polite. So again, said. Let's look another wonderful synonym for said. Convey. Yes. I conveyed. The man... Uh-oh. I said man here. I can't say man here as well. Let's change that. What kind of a synonym can we come up with besides male human? Chap, maybe. There isn't anything interesting here. Let's just say young male gentleman. Young male. As opposed to female gentleman, I suppose. Boxes. I've been talking about boxes before, so let's say containers. Like you weighed nothing at all, placed it on the desk. You began emptying the contents, piling the books on the desk one by one. I get that, Maura, I really do, but that must have been, 2 decades ago? Meredith isn't growing her chickens here, so it's my study now, he said. You know who Meredith is, right? Your sister's wife. So he's saying something. He needs to declare it. It's definitely a very declaration is saying. The box. Oh no, it's a box again. What else can we call it? Box. Carton. Package. Trunk. How is this word? Receptacle. The receptacle was now empty and he tossed it away. He sat down at the edge of the desk. I've said the word desk 3 times now, I think. What else could we call it? Let's find out. Damn it, escritoire. Let's say that. Fantastic. Folding his arms like a teacher scolding me for being late for class again, as if it was my fault I had slept in. I really feel like we need to have a manner adverb here. How is he doing this? Annoyingly, but maybe like let's say irritating. Let's find a synonym for that. Vexatiously. A wife? They can't have been married for long. I took a step back and bumped into the bookshop. Shit, it's you. They're not being very nice here, so that's good. We need them to be mean and just bad. What could we still add here? Big words. I haven't used enough big words. Let's say, is there any kind of good synonym for wife that would be a married woman? Helpmate. What is... No, let's forget about that. Bumped. Could that be late? Yes, let's change late to something bigger because we are very smart and we have big brains. It wasn't my fault. Behind-handed class again. So you don't know who she is, the man continued and kept looking through me rather than at me. It's been nearly a year now, which you would know if the matter were of any importance to you. It was a lovely ceremony on the field, you know. I'll let you guess who their best man was. Listen, you, I said and leapt out from the shelf. I didn't know where I thought I was going, but it was just as well. I almost tripped on one of the boxes standing between us. The man's puddle-colored eyes showed no emotion, and his stern, stone-like features offered no sympathy either, no matter how gentle and golden the evening sun lay on him. We need more flair in there. So let's see if we can find, gentle, placid. That's like a short word, but I think it's domesticated? No. Genial. How do you pronounce that? Genial? Well, cultivated, manageable, tractable, soft-hearted, pliable. I don't know. Pleasingly amiable. I think that is. No matter how pleasing. Oh, pleasingly amiable. Yes, we also get a manner adverb there, so that's nice. Emotion. Let's see. What could they also not show? Affection, no passion, no perturbation, vehemence. Okay, no perturbation, zero vehemence. Did I spell that wrong? Turbation. Okay, sorry. Zero vehemence. And stone-like features offered no sympathy either. Yes, pleasingly amiable and golden evening sun. Okay, my brain is now hurting. Okay, we're almost done with the scene. They're talking there. I know fine well who Meredith is. I told him, I know she's been with Josie for ages. What I don't know is who you are, what you're doing here with all your books. Let's say all your... Oh, sorry. Stupid. I don't know why I keep apologizing for my typos. Stupid books. It's difficult to type when people are watching you. All right. I can see how you'd think you're more entitled to be here than I am, but you're unfortunately incorrect. If you happen to pay attention, I knew exactly who you were. But evidently you think you're above knowing your sister's family. The man circled the chap circled behind the desk. Desk? What else? What else did we have besides desk? Not desktop, just desk, thank you. God, works with Davenport. Oh, yes, reading stand. Lectern. Let's say it's lectern. All right. Circled behind the lectern while he talked, this time sitting down on his chair like it was a throne. He probably cost as much as one anyway by the looks of it. Disgusting display. We need to find a better word there. Disgusting. Again, it's too pedestrian. Surely we can find something better. Repugnant, maybe? Abominable? Let's go for loathsome and abominable. Loathsomely abominable display of his wealth to aggravate me further. Well, fortunately, I've already got the word aggravate there. Very fancy. Can you spare the speech? I didn't come here to be lectured by you. I shuffled in my place, then straightened up. That man, that's dude. Couldn't think he was scaring me with his expressionless face and his bored upper-class voice. Voice, I think, is too pedestrian. Let's change that to something more exciting. Tone, modulation, vocalizing, vociferation. Yes, with this. Bored upper-class vociferation. No, I can't, he replied. Unfortunately, he's replying and not saying. But should it be better? Should it be? Let's just go above and beyond here. Let's not be lazy. Reciprocate, retaliate, riposte. Squelch. Let's go for riposte. He riposted. The students call me Mr. Spencer, but you can call me Nathan if you must. I'm Meredith's brother, and I'm good friends with Josie too, which you obviously did not know. You'll catch up eventually if you stay long enough. Thank you, Nathan, for being mean and cool and distant, so I don't have to do it. I knew it. The likes of him were always teachers. Whatever. I don't have all day to stay here and argue with you, Mr. Spencer. Leaving already then? At least say goodbye to your sister this time. If Nathan had been unreasonable or unnecessarily cruel, I could have cried, could have pleaded for some sympathy for my poor soul. Instead, I only cursed him on my way out and wished I could turn back time an entire year. That's where the scene actually ends. Well, we've already got a manner adverb here. Could have cried, could have, yes, let's change that. Cry. What else? What else can you do besides cry? Verb this time, thank you. Where is it? Here. We nibble. Caterwaul. Yes, fantastic. I could have caterwauled. Could have pleaded for sympathy for my poor soul. Instead, I only cursed him on my way out. Let's go for one more manner adverb. Angry, exasperated, indignant. Yes, let's go for indignant. Is that how you pronounce it? Let me know. Because it's important to show that they're angry. It's not enough, that they're cursing. You need to let your readers know that this person is angry in case they didn't figure it out from the stomping and cursing. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm not entirely sure if I have, but it has definitely been a learning experience. I've learned a lot of new words. And if you would like to actually improve your writing, you should perhaps get my collection of totally free writing exercises. The link is in there. Where links usually go. Whatever. I'll see you in another video.